Pastor, we'll get started with prayer.
Let us pray. God of grace and hope, we gather here this afternoon for this commissioners meeting, and we pray first and foremost for all the commissioners. We pray, God, for discernment and wisdom in decisions that need to be made. We pray for their agenda this afternoon. We also pray for all those who are watching and who are involved in the committee reports. We pray, God, for clarity and discernment in their request. We give this to you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Call this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to everyone. Please, I'd like to remind you to silence your phones, however that needs to be done. And we'll go ahead and get started with, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special session on the 8th and the regular meeting on the 6th?
I'll move to approve the minutes of both meetings.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes for the August 6th as well as the meeting for August 8th. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. We'll start out with department reports. I don't see Daryl anywhere. Bill? Floor is yours, sir.
Like I told you earlier, the box bridge up on 150, Leo recommends it be closed. If you have any questions for him as far as what you might want to do with it, whether we
Is this, we kind of briefly talked about it, Bill, is this something that we think we can maybe do a multiple series of cans, or?
we could possibly try. You think like a couple pipe arches would work in there?
Possibly. I really haven't looked at the size. I mean, my focus has been on the
Yeah.
condition of the existing.
It's
And this is on, again, this is on road number, let's see, it's on 150 East. It's just south of 250 North. And you wouldn't know it as you're driving over. There's a little bend in the road right there at that location. It's a very, very old structure, steel beams. But the worst thing is that the abutments on this bridge are critically deteriorated. Concrete portions are undermounted, and the stone portions have spalling of about 2 feet wide. So there's real. Our firm's strong recommendation is that this road be closed until replacement takes place. That's our first concern, is getting the road closed. In terms of what goes back in its place, we could possibly do a couple of cans.
Yeah,
they
there-
don't like multiple structures, but that is possible there. I think it drains about 0.6 of a square mile.
Yeah, it's about 400 and some acres,
Right.
450. I think it needs probably about a 40-foot square opening. Yeah, I think it's 30 now, and before I think water goes over, and because there's always
I'm sure
mud.
water flows over the road. It's just upstream of the river. So probably the river floods the whole thing. But
So does water run under it all the time, or is it just
I'm not sure.
there's a trickle today.
Trickle.
it's mostly flood, used for flood purposes then?
Well, but it.
Or high water
400
level.
So that can be a lot. That can be a lot of
Because it's not that dry yet.
It's, there's still a trickle of water through it today.
Okay. Mark, you want to throw your ideas out on these bridges?
Billy told me they wouldn't work, I think. I was thinking, could you put, like, they in construction sites, they use them inch metal plates?
No,
You can't use them? And why is that?
because it's the foundations that are critically impaired.
So in other words, you can put that on there and it could shift and knock it out, is what you're saying?
It would still, it would still cause, it's still not safe to heat with those. Those are good for short span problems, but they're not good for long span. This is a 16-foot long structure.
Well, how about for, what do you consider short span?
A foot or two,
5 foot?
maybe. That's
Well, if that was the case, we could use them down there on, Gabbard.
Well, Little Bear and Garrison, I
And
think.
Little Bear.
Little Bear and Garrison, I think he's referring to those.
They're only about 5 foot.
I'm not sure.
Seems like the span was at least 6 feet on both of those. Or,
That's what I'm recalling.
Mhm.
I don't have that detail.
Yeah, I think they were both right at 6 feet.
Okay, all right. You could probably span those with a 10-foot long. And on those situations, it's the steel beams that are the problem, that are,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
problem. The foundation is in better condition, so you should.
So we could lay a metal plate over that and be all right?
Yes, but not on the one on 150.
Right, but the two that we've already closed,
Yes.
we could possibly get those opened
That's
back
two of
up.
To get them back open until we get them replaced.
Yeah, if your plates are 8 to 10 foot long, but it needs to be the whole width of the bridge.
Right.
So you need a lot of steel.
So would we need your signature on those if we put those down?
Probably not. Probably not. Those are pretty durable.
Would
I mean,
we
if
have
you
to,
put if you put an 1/8 of an inch thick steel plate back, that won't work.
right,
But they're standard utility plates.
utility plates is what we want to look at. Okay. So then, would we need to put load limits?
Not, okay, which one are we talking about now?
The two that's already been closed?
The two that have been closed, if you put the steel plates on those two, you probably would not need to put a weight limit on
Okay,
them. I'm sorry, you would not need to put a weight limit on them.
okay. But this one at Shelton's Flat, it's just too long to do anything like
It's
that.
just too long to do that one.
All right.
How much does milk which cost?
Yeah. Do you have any idea, Bill? These utility plates that he's talking about, do you
Or to get
have
somebody to do them?
cost-wise? Do
Oh, I
you?
have no idea. I mean, like I said, they put that big one down there. I mean, Jay may know, I don't know where he got that down on Ott. He put that for that drive forward. I don't know how big that is, but I don't know if he bought that or has it laying around. He might have a better idea of where he could get something on what the cost would
Get
be.
them up here at the 23rd, around in that area. They're putting the sewer in up there.
Well, I just wonder if there's some contractors that we could rent them.
Might rent one, yeah, I never thought about that. That wouldn't be bad.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Utility contractors, they have them.
probably laying around. I mean,
Connersville Utilities may have some.
whether they're big enough or long enough
I don't
to do.
know.
You're thinking 8 to 10 feet long?
Um, If they're 6-foot spans, minimum 8, prefer 10.
Okay,
If
'Cause-
they're 8, they can't move very much,
okay,
or else you've got a problem again.
yeah. But you're thinking on those two, it's gonna be mid to late September before we
The
get them
cans are
opened
gonna
back
come
up.
in probably second week of September, and then Eric said probably 1st of October before he can get to it to replace it. So we probably first, second week of October before it's reopened. Both of them.
But if we put those plates down, it could be open for the whole, right up until construction and,
Yeah, and we can take them
Yeah.
out and do our work.
I would rather do that than leave these roads closed, because You know, a lot of people right now are really frustrated with us at the
Especially down Garrison Creek, because they
Pace.
have to go over to Columbia, come back in.
moving on this, you know. These closed roads is an inconvenience for a lot of people for a lot of reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, you're gonna have 121 shut down for them 2 bridges.
Next summer.
It'll be next summer.
Oh, that's next summer, it's not
Yeah,
this
no,
fall.
it's not this year. It's gonna be
Okay.
all next summer, spring and summer, fall.
Mark, do you want to kind of pursue this with Daryl and Jay
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
and Bill and see if we can't get those open back up as soon as possible? Because don't you think we could, once they laid those plates down, we can just ramp up to them with patch material
Probably could, yeah.
and then scrape it right off
Mhm.
when we take the plates off? So it won't be so rough.
If you put some signs out there, rough road, and that way people don't know it's a tree fix.
Yeah.
Get 2 of them out of the way.
That would certainly take some of the urgency off this.
Mm-hmm. Now this one out here, I don't know, 10-foot span, what's, is it open fields dumping into?
A lot, yeah, some woods.
Or is it wooded area, or, I mean,
Both.
I don't want the highway to have to be out there after every inch rain to clean
Yeah, I
corn
did.
stalks and stuff out of cans. If we try cans out there,
Yeah. A lot of it's tillable. I mean, there's some woods just to the southeast. You got that photograph, you can see to the southeast, there's some wood, but most of it's a lot of tillable ground.
mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of tillable there.
Because if we're talking a small structure, we're talking a bid process for it.
Yeah, talking about putting a small bridge in there or something. And how long?
Yeah. And it's gonna be, I mean, now we put those, Jerry had, I forget what they're called.
The gabions, there are gabions there because, so it wouldn't wash out, right, yeah, on this, on the east side. And there's, the gabions still there on the east side,
On the northeast.
Yeah.
northeast side,
Yeah,
yeah.
and those are starting to have problems.
Are they?
Yes.
But, those metal spans that are
Pipe archers? Yeah.
three-sided are, spans, I mean, that might be,
We could put probably 2 smaller ones because what will cover it will be way too high. You'll have a big hump in the road, but
Oh.
we could try 2 side by side.
you mean of the cans?
Yeah, the pipe archers.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
What you put in right there north of Manlove Park, on 350 a few years ago.
Those aluminum bridges?
Yeah, aluminum.
Do they still do aluminum bridges?
We could do something like
They're
that.
typically a good solution. It's sensitive to how much cover you have at the top of it.
Yeah.
But in situations like this, they tend to may end up with a small pump.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Something
don't know
of
who
that
se-
nature.
Figure out who sells those and see what,
I think Jerry always got them. I don't know, talk to Jerry about them, but to get some ideas, because we put 2 of them in Posey Township when I was commissioner before, and they put 1 more since then.
I do, there've been several put around.
And, well, I think we put 2 down there on Columbia Road
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah, I could check on that.
They're a cheaper alternative, let's put it that way, but they're still gonna be above bid numbers. We're probably gonna bid it out and everything. Go through advertising and bid. So, is that the direction we wanna move on those 2, the first 2?
Another one, too,
Yeah, I'm okay with,
Are
Doing
we all
that.
right with just letting Mark work with these guys and
sure,
make the decision?
as long as he gets started this afternoon. If we don't, if we wind up having to buy a couple of plates, it probably wouldn't hurt to have them in inventory anyhow.
Well, probably not.
May not.
You never know when you're gonna need something like this.
Even for, like Mark said, even if we got a can that falls through,
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. They can take a plate out and lay it over it and come back the next day and fix it or whatever. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have them anyway. So I guess we don't have any choice with this bridge, this structure here either. I reckon.
Leo, I'm not questioning what you say, I just haven't been out there and seen that. You know, we didn't know about this until just minutes ago.
I understand. When I saw them, I was surprised also. And we don't do this, we don't recommend closure lightly. I did review it with the vice president of engineering in our organization, and he was solid in the opinion. We have to protect the public, so we have to recommend a closure. Now, you come up with a different solution here that's gonna allow you to keep it open, and that is a good solution, so we're in favor of that. But there were, it wasn't just three. I mean, we sent recommendations to build on 5 different bridges. On 2 of them, we came up with a solution. Maybe we can just put a 10-ton weight limit on these 2 small structures, and we won't have to close these 2. So we really do try to inconvenience the public as little as possible. It's just in these cases, we simply felt like it was not safe to recommend anything but closure with these. And I wish things were different. If you think that's an apology, then go ahead and take it.
So there's no, well, we can Band-Aid it until we start making plans, get plans for construction.
For most of these, no, they're just way too old, way too bad. The Band-Aid would be the steel plate.
Right. On the 2, but I guess I'm referring to the one at Shelton's Plant.
The
There's-
one, yeah, the
there's-
one up in, what I called Waterloo 065, that's the only Band-Aid. Yeah, that steel plate will simply not save you from the problem. The problem on that one is the foundation.
Well, I didn't know whether we could pour some other extra concrete under there to get by, or,
It'll take you a week or 2 to get a contractor to do that. You'll throw a lot of money at trying to do that.
okay, that's what I needed an opinion.
And that is something you consider, but in this case, it would be, you throw a lot of money at it, and it really only buys you a couple of weeks. I mean, a couple of months. You'd rather just go ahead and make plans for
Picture
a complete
it.
replacement.
So Bill, you think a couple of cans out there at Shelton Flat will do temporarily?
Yeah, we could do it temporarily. Yeah, we can see, get a couple of them. I can see if those ones we had up for $650, because they've never been used, I've got 2 different sizes up there on $650, well, the highway department does, that they ordered when we was gonna redo that. We can see if one of those sets would work to put it in. Until if you wanted to go the aluminum bridge route. But, yeah, I mean, if you
I'm sorry,
House.
did I misunderstand? I thought he was talking about a temporary solution up there on 150 East. Is that what you asked about?
On 150 East, are you recommending building a new structure, or can 2 cans be the permanent fix? I haven't been out there, I don't know.
And I don't have the hydraulic answers for that. Well, it seemed to me maybe a temporary fix on 150 East would be to put in 1 or 2 cans, rip out the old bridge, put in a couple of cans, whatever, how much points, that's gonna cost $4,000 or $5,000, maybe $6,000.
Mhm.
And fill it with, backfill it and maybe cold patch on top of that. And just remember, that's just a temporary fix until you can hire a contractor and get it replaced permanently. And that will get the road open within a week or so. Now, you probably are gonna have a couple of cans that are inadequate hydraulically, so if there's a flood,
Mhm.
everything could get washed out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But that's what, that's what we do on temporary runarounds in highway construction. We put in very small pipes,
Mhm.
and it's just a temporary runaround around bridge construction. And if it does flood and get washed out, it's not that big of a problem. I mean, it's still a problem, it's not a huge
Yeah.
problem.
But
That's-
get somebody to do it that quick unless the highway department does it. Like I said, they're all, they said, a month out or more, trying to find somebody to go do it that quick. I mean, if we could use a couple of those pipe arches from 650.
Well, whatever we do, can we do it as quickly as possible?
And
So are you
safely.
gonna have them
Well,
close it
you're not
then?
gonna put a permanent structure in there.
No, we're not
Quick.
we're not gonna get a permanent structure. We're already late August, but we are luckily in the drier part of the season. If we have to use a couple of cans that are hydraulically underrated, we might luck out and not experience a washout, But if we do, we could,
Well, I guess I would
Now,
want.
two of these up there on 650, that was over 700 acre watershed that I've gotten. It's bigger than this, so those two on the north end of where it was washing out, they're for 700 acres. So they might be about right. The ones to the south were a little smaller, watershed wasn't near that big. So they might be okay as far as in there. But I can't remember how height of them. I have to look and see what the height of them is.
Well, on a temporary basis, if we have to hump them up,
Yeah.
it's better that they're old. I mean, we don't want to get it too much of a hump that equipment can't get over them, or semis, with hopper bottoms. I mean, I'm thinking of harvest
Yeah.
season, as much as I am school
But
buses.
I'd also like to think that when we say temporary, we don't mean temporary permanent, Because we need to get back to it and repair it.
Well,
Can't
we need
just
to
let it stay.
continue working on a bidding out a project, and
So you're looking for a temporary solution that
Maybe-
probably would have to go through the winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
till next year.
till next year.
When you say go for it, that's it.
Find out the highway schedule, see if they can, but how long, I mean, you're recommending closing it immediately, right?
Yes, that's still all right.
And you guys are in charge of the highway department, you could, if those
What kind of
cans
traffic
work.
do we have there?
There's a lot
I
of
bet a
them.
lot. I don't know what the count would be, but I mean.
You got a housing addition, and all them people do that with.
Mhm. Y'all Shelby's Flats right there, do you know how many people those go north to go to, Richmond or wherever, head that direction, up?
Is this up here around the corner from Monty, what used to be?
Monty McDaniel, well, this used to be Monty McDaniel's farm here, part of it.
And did he have some right here on the corner?
Yeah,
This is
actually,
going to the school?
yes. This goes on to the Waterloo
Oh,
School.
we're clear up here.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
and you see right here,
I wasn't far enough up.
the river runs real close to the road right there.
Yeah.
If you drive along, you can look over and see the river, and the road bed is almost the same elevation as the river right in that section.
Not much higher.
It's a low-lying area.
Yeah.
This is, see, this is Fred Fox's property right here.
This was Monty McDaniel's right here, wasn't it? Right here on the corner. That's where his mom lived, wasn't it? Or-
No, the second one.
The second one was
Right
where
there.
his mom lived?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I know where we're at now. It's probably gonna take longer to tear it out than it is to put 2 cans in.
Probably.
That's the problem.
It might not take that
You don't think so? Not the way it is?
Because I wanna make sure we get everything out. We've had problems where we've left sidewalls in and whatnot, and then
It'll come back to get you.
it comes back and haunts us because it washes out
Mhm.
between the sidewall and the can, or,
long. That can happen.
yeah. Or end walls, I guess you would call them that.
Well, I don't mind getting rid of those end walls, because those things are
Dangerous.
yeah, they're a traffic hazard anyhow. 99 times out of 100 when I meet another vehicle on a county road, it's right in the middle of one of those things.
Um,
And I'll be glad when they're all gone.
If we have the highway work on all 3 of these to get plates put on and get this tore out and put cans in, they're just gonna have to stop everything else.
Well, I think that would be my preference. Tell those guys today,
I mean, we've still got,
stop chip and seal, stop everything and go out there and get these 2 roads open and get started on that 150 East and keep it open. I mean, you know, we can't leave that road closed indefinitely. We've got to
not
do
this
something
one.
right
I
away.
thought this was a different spot when I first looked at it. This road's too busy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got people screaming about wash yet, potholes, trying to get chip seal work done, and trying to get to the paving, and
We're a little bit behind on a lot of things.
well, I guess, is that official then? We want the highway to see if they can take that out? Have
You
Darryl
ought to
look
let
at
them
it?
go look at it first before telling anything.
Yeah,
See if we're capable of doing it, you know, because,
Great All may not be big enough to
yeah.
take it out. We may have to get a Traco in there big enough to take it out.
You know, they know better than what we know about being able to take it out and stuff.
But it needs to be a couple days project. I mean, that's how quick we need to work on it. Get that done.
Can you start easing them that way to it?
I can give Daryl a call. and
See what they got to say? And,
See what Daryl's got, yeah, I can talk to him.
yeah, 'cause this ought to have a priority with the chip and seal.
Bill, why don't you go get an opinion from Darryl, and then hopefully you can come back before the end of the meeting, and we can go back to discussing it.
Okay. We'll go give him a call, see if I can
Yeah.
round him up.
Go-
And see if they would have time to go tear it out. And
Well,
How about authorizing overtime?
I don't care. That's what I
You got
keep telling.
overtime, let's use it.
I keep telling Darryl,
We got overtime, let's use
Let's-
it, you know, don't let it sit there for nothing.
Well, we're on summer hours. They could devote Friday to it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I told Darryl the other day, I said, as far as I'm concerned, we need to consider using Friday, because we
Yeah.
got chip seal work
Friday
to
and
do.
Saturday,
We got,
really.
and I said,
Don't be so tight, let's open it up, let them have at it.
yeah. So, why don't you converse with Darryl, see if he'll go look at it, tell him we're considering stopping that all work and letting them concentrate on these 3 bridges, and if he thinks he can do that bridge, he probably knows what we're talking about without going and looking at it,
yeah.
whether he can, because I think, didn't you tell me that he thought they could even take Garrison out?
Yeah, he thought they could originally.
with the grade
replace
on
that
it,
at the same
so.
time.
And there again, we can sure go rent an excavator that's big enough to, I mean, they've got them on rental lots all day long.
Well, I know that guy down there at Garrison Creek, he's got backhoes and stuff. He might help you take them out. He might, because
if we
his
can
farm is down on the other side of that.
If we can get the plates across those, that'll fix
That'd be
those
a whole lot better.
until October.
Yeah.
The big one really is this one,
Yeah, Shelton Platt.
because we can't fix it with plates,
Yeah.
but we can, if we tear it out and put cans in there on a temporary basis, and we've already got the cans
They should work, I mean,
on a temporary.
yeah.
And we know they're small enough that if they do wash out, the county highway can handle pulling them back in and putting them back on in place. We wouldn't have to have a private contractor, depend on a private contractor that way. Why don't you check with Daryl and then come
Okay.
back and talk to
Okay,
him?
I need to
We'll go from there then.
Yeah, I need a couple of things signed here. This is for, actually, it needs to be signed in blue for you and Jane. This is so we can use the money on 650 that where they missed it out there. So we can use that money on the rest of Columbia Road. Gotta have that. I need both blue and then dated the same date. I gotta mail it back. They want the original back. I'll email you a copy of it. But, yeah, it's just so we can use that money on the rest of the road.
This is the 20th, isn't it? And then,
And this one is for the final change orders. All three of you need to sign it, and then you can probably date across there. That's for the change orders for all the community crossing stuff.
and that gets it within our budget then.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about, so all three commissioners need to sign that, and
In
then
blue or?
the blue, I don't think so. I'm gonna email that back to them. They didn't want the original on that, they just wanted the original on this.
Does it matter what color on this?
No.
Okay.
Was you gonna sign it here?
Can't use pink.
Because I figured you wanted Jane's signature too, but.
No, just you three, it looks
all right,
like.
I'm sorry. I figured it was coming back this way anyway. The unofficial detour for 121,
Mm-hmm.
did we sign the
Yes.
official paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I sent it back.
Well, Jane and I both had paperwork that was, still hadn't been signed, so we thought, well.
Yeah, I emailed the
I
copy.
couldn't remember whether we.
Yeah, I already emailed that and everything. Yeah, it's taken care of.
Before you get away, I might as well ask you another question. Do you have a plan to repair the drive forward on Ott Road ready yet?
I need to get a hold of somebody to do that concrete. I'm gonna call that company, they had a concrete guy, and see if he can, willing to do it. As far as getting those others, they're probably booked for the rest of summer. But I might be able to see if this guy can, because they have a good concrete guy, he told me back in the spring that could do that and pen the rest of it. So I'll give him a call this week and see if he can get to that yet this fall. Need to, yeah. I don't know if they gonna try to pave it, because I know Jay had all that money put in there, transferred, pave it all, hot mix it. I didn't know if they was gonna still plan on doing that this fall, summer or
It's still
not.
on the schedule, but
Is it?
this bridge project's May.
Yeah. Well, I'll get,
Put a damper
I'll
on
call
our
first,
paving.
I'll call first of week, this week, I'll call tomorrow and see if that, because he just lives in Franklin County, he subcontracts for that energy company that does the bridge sealing and stuff. He said he's really good, so I'll see if he could be available.
We at least need some dollar amounts so
See
we know
what kind of
whether we're gonna have to
estimate.
bid it or not.
Maybe have to give an estimate, because he didn't look at it, the concrete guy didn't, the owner of the company looked at it, and so, yeah, we can't seal over it because it's too rough, but, you know, the concrete guy could do it, so I can try to
Yeah.
see what we get there.
I can estimate the amount of concrete it would take to do it, but I can't estimate the labor portion of it.
Yeah. So I'll try to get something as soon as I can on it, and that way we can plan whether we're gonna be able to do it this fall. So I'll go call,
I think there is.
I'll go try to get ahold of Daryl and
Okay, thanks.
see what he thinks.
Thanks, Bill.
I'll be back.
Bill Gray is not here. Michael?
I don't have much of anything for you. I got a baby brother of the secondary firewall that I have here. I got the baby brother of it for TV3 and installed that Friday before last. So I'm kind of using them for a experiment for here, going through and learning what programming I need to do to go through the implementation for putting that in the case here. I did find out in setting theirs up that there are some things I have to tweak to get it so it doesn't interfere with our setup here. So it is good that I did get theirs set up first. So, because it kind of taught me some things that if I had tried to set it up here, it would have interfered with our setups to get Odyssey to work and some other stuff. So I've got to figure out some bypasses and some rules to put in place on it before I put it in place. So I am working on setting that up, plus setting up computers and everything else we've got going on. So other than that, that's all I got going on. So any questions or anything for me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, is someone from the health department here? I don't see him. All right. Yeah. Just making sure there's... Michelle, do you still have something for us today?
No, I don't.
Okay. Jeff, do you
I do not.
have anything today? Mike, from the council?
Nothing.
All right, we'll move on to mail. We did receive a letter. I assume that would be part of mail, but Workman's Comp is requesting to know if we can, or I guess they're notifying us that Jay is able to go back to work under a limited mobility or modified duty work. He needs to be able to sit down any or all the time. I guess I was wondering if we wanted to let Jay come back and maybe
Do it at his discretion.
let him do the office administrative work, and that'll relieve some of the pressures off of Daryl, and maybe let Daryl continue doing the field work, maybe?
Yeah.
Do we foresee a problem with the union at that point in time? I
wouldn't think so. And the last time I talked to Jay, he was supposed to see his doctor on the 22nd, which is a couple of days away. And evidently, they've come to the conclusion that he's able to come back with certain restrictions now. So I'm okay with him coming back. He doesn't have to run equipment or anything.
No, that's what I mean, his is a little different than the laborers
Sure.
down there. I mean, because he's administrative.
Yeah.
We can keep him at a desk.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that Daryl's probably not able to keep up with. Trying to,
Well, it's hard to be out there with the crew all the time and keep the paperwork up.
and not knowing all about the paperwork too.
Yeah.
So do we,
Do we need to approve his return to work? Or,
isn't that what they're asking? For us to
Yes.
approve a,
Yes, we would need to notify them that he could return to work under these restrictions.
I'll move to approve and come in.
I'll second the motion to allow Jay Havlin to return to work under
What?
the restrictions that his doctor has recommended.
recommending? Do we want to add to that motion that we'd like to keep Daryl on board on a temporary
Yeah.
basis
Yeah.
in the field
Yeah.
to assist him
Yep.
Sure.
where he can't perform. All right. Motion made and seconded that we allow Workman's Comp's request and ask, or allow Jay to come back on a restricted work schedule as recommended by Workman's Comp, and also to allow Darrell to continue to assist in the duties that he's unable to perform. Is there any other questions or discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. All right, thank you. Moving on,
You
is
still
there any
got
other
some
mail?
Yeah, I got a piece of mail.
All right.
Um, Normally, I wouldn't bring this up in a meeting, but I did get a piece of mail from someone who deliberately did not put their name to it.
That means they don't want you to know it.
And that's,
Okay, but, so whoever out there sent me a letter, were concerned over a large tree limb hanging over State Road 44, just west of town, just west of the Gray Haven Motel, over top of the bridge. They have been concerned about this thing falling onto traffic. So that's something the county highway department can't take care of since it is a state road. I did report the situation to the Indiana Department of Transportation at the Greenfield office. They were to send a traffic safety engineer out to see if the situation warranted any action on their part, and that they would get back with me and let me know, and I haven't heard back from them. So whoever authored this letter of complaint about this issue, if you're listening, I did turn in your complaint, and I haven't heard anything back from the DOT on that yet. So that was my mail for this meeting.
okay. Thank you. Any other mail?
I did get an electric bill. If you-
I got one of those again.
Okay, all right.
Anything else fits under
Wait,
this
right
with
here.
your notes?
What's Mark got here?
That's supposed to be called to get, I just knocked it out. The state highway, that's the work crews that come around here.
Now,
Call them and they'll come.
well, I'll write that down.
Just give it out to whoever wrote
I
that
don't-
letter.
Yeah, I don't want to call them right in the middle of this meeting.
No,
I think he was saying broadcast it over the TV so
Yeah.
that everybody
they
can do
got a
their own
job, they
calls.
need to work.
Do any other your notes fall under mail, or do we want to move
No. We can move on.
on? Old business then?
I got something, I guess it'll fall under old business. Okay. I don't know how many times we've done it, but we went through and, about putting signs on our county vehicles. And I've yet to see a sign on our county vehicle, so we need to maybe go to the sign man, tell them to come over to whatever department and slap that baby on and just get her done.
I don't disagree. I think our vehicles should be marked
I do too.
and what department they belong to.
That's right.
Yeah. But we've got several now with no markings on them.
But that's nothing new. I mean,
No.
we fought that when I was commissioner before.
Well, what if I go over here to the guy that makes signs and tell him,
The magnetic signs or paint
I'll
or
just soon have the permanent ones on.
graphics, silk, or no.
Whatever they do.
Yeah,
Spray paint, I
vinyl,
don't care.
the vinyl.
Yeah. Permanent. Should I go over and talk to him and see if he can do it?
Get us some numbers.
Okay.
We need to pay for it somehow.
Okay. We'll take care of that.
Figure out how many vehicles we got to do. Maybe. Anything else on that?
Not on the vehicles. Could we back up a minute to
Sure.
I couldn't make our meeting 2 weeks ago, but I know you guys did give your approval to reopening 565 West with a temporary fix out there. Since then, has anybody spoke to the county highway department about putting them on that project?
You know, I was trying to think about that today. I was trying to think, I thought I talked to Darrell about it, but I can't remember for sure.
I think you did, because I remember you doing it. But when it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Oh, I did, because I asked him, I said, well, you know, we'd like to get it open as soon as possible, but work it in with your rainy day when you can't be chip sealing and so on and so forth. But if we're gonna stop on Britain, stop all seesaw work, then
Yeah, well, it is still closed, but on that subject, I want to let you guys know that if we ultimately decide to move that road bed about 50 feet to the east in order to get away from that slipping hillside, that would involve, you know, the acquisition of right-of-way from 2 different property owners. And I've talked to both of them. And one of them has agreed to go through the appraisal process, and the second one will gladly, you know, do whatever is necessary to get the road relocated.
the one property we're probably gonna have to buy it all, aren't we?
Yeah, the one to the south would require a small sliver of about 1/3 of an acre.
And that would just be
Yeah.
right away acquisition.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to go through appraisal process.
Yeah. So, my question to you guys is, do you want to start pursuing the appraisal process or not?
I guess my concern is if everybody's in agreement that we just need to tile that spring away from the corner.
That reminds me, well, I've got some stuff out in the back of the truck right now I meant to bring in here. That drain under that road, of course, the way the road is shifted, I don't think the drain itself has any integrity anymore. But at the end of that pipe is plugging up with this crusty, some sort of lime deposits that I don't know if it's coming from something that occurs there naturally or whether it's coming from fill material that was put in that road bed
Maybe
when
it's
that
cut the line and let
thing was done. But it's not, there's nothing more than a trickle coming out of the end of it. And this stuff that's stopping up the pipe is almost like something you'd find in a cave or something, you know. And I've got some samples of it out there in the truck right now. There was I did a little bit of research, and at one time the DNR had some what they called emergency watershed protection grants. I don't know if that program is still active or not. And I don't know if they would get involved in the actual moving of a road bed. But this is about the at least the fourth time that hillside has slipped out there, according to the...
And there again, once again, it's not slipping down the hill, it's just dropping straight down.
It gives that appearance for sure, but down along the creek bed, there's some large slabs of brown clay that seem to have oozed out.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming down and then
Squishing down, it's like it's
And then-
putting soil.
Yeah,
out the bottom of the hill, it's coming out at the bottom of the hill. It's
Yeah.
not sliding. You know how a lot of the highways down Franklin County, they were having trouble with them sliding down the hill, and this is not actually, it's not sliding down the hill. So, I mean, I know Mike Keller, he seemed to be convinced that if we dry that spring up, we'd fix the problem, but I'm just not,
well,
admittedly, I'm not smart enough to know whether that's gonna solve the problem or not.
we could very easily spend more money trying to fix something that can't be fixed than it would take to move the road bed.
Providing if we move the road bed,
We get out of the problem.
we get out of the problem.
Yeah,
But 50 foot may not be,
well, there's no evidence further up the hill there that, of anything like this going on. It's just there, right in the middle of the road out
mhm.
to the west side of it, so. But anyhow, if, I can help facilitate the appraisal process.
If you guys-
If we want to pursue that yet, so
If-
that's my question to you guys.
If you guys are convinced that that's the permanent fix, I'm fine with that, to move forward with moving the road. But, like I said, I'm just not,
I can't
I'm
think.
not
yeah.
saying it won't, but I'm not,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Well,
Only time will tell.
Sure. I don't know anything else to do.
Just have to, I'd say try to move it a little and see what we go from there.
But it's, you know, this process could easily, by the time you invest the time in the appraisals and acquisition and planning and on and on and on,
You're talking 6 months to a year.
6 months to a year, and those guys,
Need it.
they need that road open now, you know?
So, I mean, once again, we're back to, let's temporarily fix it to get it.
Unless they put
open.
bigger tires on one side of the bike and then the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to continue, I don't have a problem with going out there and continuing to dump stone in it and blading it down. But I don't want to continue spending money on asphalt.
Yeah, and you don't wanna see it sink overnight. you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to see it, as long as we're sure that it's not gonna, we're not gonna have a sinkhole overnight, I don't have a problem with opening it back up, and that's what I said
Yeah.
last meeting.
Well,
I just
yeah,
don't want something to sneak up on us, I don't.
Neither do I. Now, the appraisals themselves probably cost us in the neighborhood of $3,000.
You're gonna have it to get it done.
Now, that doesn't guarantee the
The end product.
end product, but that's where we have to start, if we're going to start.
These expenditures could be taken from the highway, though,
Yes,
because it's a future road project.
yeah,
Could it not? I mean,
I think so.
Jeff, do you see that being a problem to take it from highway funds? All
For the
costs-
appraisals?
All costs associated with preparation for moving this road and
I mean, I
everything.
can't see why that'd be a problem. I mean, that's what the purpose is, right?
I mean, we're not buying it to build a structure on it or anything.
Right,
We're
right.
buying it to
For
build a road
roadways, right?
for a roadway.
So I guess my question today is, do we want to, or are you ready to start the appraisal process?
Let me ask you this, Dale, first of all, before we go on to that part. If that road comes up here and goes around the curve here, and we're gonna move this road this way, will this road actually be moved to the back side of the property? That we were
It
gonna-
probably would, but.
Well,
it-
that property there that used to belong to Henry Powell years
Yes.
ago, from the center of the road to the back fence is 175 feet. So we need to move that road bed there at least 50 feet. So that would put it, you know, pretty close to the center of that lot. So,
What would,
Wouldn't we
Would
be
there
better
be
off
a-
just set it all the way back?
what would be the possibility of taking this roadway and moving it clear to the back half and
So you
see if
got more
they,
protection.
would give that right away to us if we give them this right away?
They wouldn't want that.
I don't know what they would want it for.
Because I mean, that way that this building lot would be on the west
You
side of the
shift-
road
yeah, I
instead of
see.
the east side of the road. And we just shift our right of way instead of buying property, actually buying,
Well,
or maybe we just buy the right of way on the back side of the property.
the road bed itself it is not fit for a building site. Have you been out there and looked at that?
That's right.
But I guess what I'm
I see
thinking
what
is,
your idea is, but I think you might as well just kiss that all goodbye. It's all gonna go to the road the way I think it is, the way it looks to me.
my only concern is, after the road's put in, somebody's gotta maintain all that.
We'll end up getting,
Well, it would just be, we would basically be widening our existing right-of-way to include this corner lot and a triangular sliver
Yeah.
off the one to the south. The right-of-way, the part of the ground that we would own there would just be about 175 feet wider at one end. And it's just all growed up with trees and everything right now. I don't know why we'd want to change that.
here you go.
Well, all right, let me ask you this. Would there be a possibility that this property owner would be interested in
What's left?
what's
Might
left?
be.
If there's anything left, yeah, I'm sure they would.
I don't want to take, my concern is I guess I don't want to take this whole lot out of taxation.
Yeah, you still have.
Well, this property owner here owns all the way around this thing. See, this property owner here owns this,
Okay.
and then
Oh.
on down the road, so,
Oh, this,
Oh, okay.
this right here isn't owned by,
It's just like a
No.
little corner out of it.
help me,
Edge-
Edgecombe.
Edgecombe, no, that's
Okay.
not owned by Edgecombe. It's owned by,
So,
Mr. King.
so possibly, quite possibly, we could, what we need here, we might be able to trade it for ground that we don't need up here with him.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would be amenable to that. But the details of which we would have to,
I mean, I don't know if this is how that goes or not, but
Yeah.
I just threw that in there.
well, I'll be glad to go out there with you and, take a look at this and you can get on the GIS. I got on the GIS and calculated.
How many acres is this?
That is,
2?
no, I don't think it's 2. Do you remember, Bill, the amount of acreage out there on 565 West?
Henry Powell's.
That corner lot there.
I'm thinking like 1.1 or 1.2 acres. I got a copy of that.
Just over 1 acre.
It's just barely over 1. Yeah, it's a fairly small piece.
Okay, well, I was just trying to think if there was a better way that we could get the majority of it back on the tax rolls,
Well,
if we only need 50 foot of it.
I wouldn't worry about that little bad road.
And you'd have to leave at least an acre, it wouldn't be a building site. If you take any more, you'd have to leave them an acre, or it's basically useless because nobody can build a house on it.
Right. Oh, yeah, I know.
Because you have to have a septic and a well on it.
But what I was thinking about was trading with the neighbor,
Oh, well, you're not talking about buying the corner and only taking part of it?
and maybe we'll take out what we need of it and then give the rest of it to the neighbor for what sliver that we need from him,
Oh, okay.
or something like that. Just do a swap. And then we wouldn't have to go through any money exchange or anything.
Well, I don't think you can
For,
do that.
for the neighbor anyway.
Yeah, well,
We just have to buy the 1.1 or 2 acres, whatever it is. But yeah, if we're convinced that that'll fix the problem, let's start moving forward with it, because it's gonna take time.
Well, the point is, just, you know, it's been closed now for several months. We're not doing anything. And we gotta start somewhere.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, just to get this thing off top dead center, I'll make a motion that we begin the appraisal process on these two parcels with the two separate property owners.
I'll second the motion.
This motion made and seconded that we start the appraisal process for the purchase of these two properties, pieces of property, for road purposes. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Jeff, do we need to also, when we bought the dollar store, we needed to have the council do a resolution?
I think we need to have the council do a resolution. Are we sure on what we're gonna have appraised? Like, you guys have it squared away on which part of the land? I know there's some
I
confusion.
think you pretty well know what.
Yeah, I know what's there.
Okay.
You want to prepare the request for the next council meeting then?
Yeah, we can do that.
I think it'll have to be advertised, doesn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it'll need to be.
So, if we have time. We should have time.
We do, yeah.
All right. All right, anything else on that issue? Let's move back to Bill then.
We
On the,
beat 565 to death today.
did you find out anything from Darrell?
I talked to Darrell, and he was heading back to the out of the garage, checking on the guys, and he was gonna go out and look at it. He said he'll look and see if they can tear it out with the equipment they've got. If not, he'll have to rent something, but he wasn't sure if he had any rental money left. But he thinks he might be able to, once he looks at it, go ahead and tear it out. And he said he could,
Can we pay for that rental equipment out of the bridge?
I don't know,
Fine.
I'm not sure.
We can, can't we?
Probably
Because it's bridge.
Yeah.
It's,
Might have to do like do a transfer or something, or additional. So we never really rent anything. I mean, not for,
can that, is that just,
Look, whatever it takes.
but he said that, he's figuring maybe 4 days.
3 or 4?
That, at worst case, because you don't know what you're gonna get when you
Right.
get down in there.
Yeah.
And,
I
and he said he could.
I was figuring on a business week.
Yeah, and he said he could start tomorrow, but, start tomorrow and work Wednesday and Thursday, and don't get it done, and still be closed over the weekend.
They could have Friday and Saturday.
Pardon me?
They could have Friday and Saturday too. You got overtime budget.
I mean, you can call him and tell him to work, I guess. I mean, they work for you guys. I mean, I don't know how many guys he wasn't talking, like a whole bunch of guys that, need it. Of course,
I
you
wouldn't
need a
think
couple
it'd
trucks,
take-
probably load it off, and, he talked like, not. But he said he could start as early as tomorrow if he thinks he can get it out with his equipment. And the box, and the pipe arches, there's one at the highway department they were gonna use somewhere else, but never did. And the other one's still up on 650, they can go get it. So that's not an issue.
That's a good one.
So it's all depends
Why
on,
waste any more time?
That's
I
good.
mean, if you want them to start tomorrow, they may have to work Fridays, or wait till Monday and have 4 days next week.
They go Friday and Saturday.
If you wanna call, if you wanna call him, cause like I said, he was going down there and then he was gonna go out and look at it, so, if you wanna call him and after he looks at it and see what he thinks and tell him, if he can get some guys to work Friday and Saturday or whatever it takes to get it done.
Friday and
I
Saturday.
mean, that's your guys'.
Well, if he said he can start tomorrow, I'd give him Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday if necessary. If they couldn't get that done in that time, there'd be something wrong, I'd say.
And Saturday if need
I
be.
don't know, sometimes we start jerk something out. It
Yeah.
don't work
Yeah,
the way you
so
think.
And
what do you think? Bill?
especially if you have to rent.
I'm just thinking
I don't-
4 to 7 days.
Yeah, minimum of 4. probably.
Is there, no doubt there may be utilities to locate along there
They're
too.
gonna have to, they'll have to call
Yeah, I'm
for
not sure.
utilities. And what do they got, 48 hours to come, Mark?
I'm not sure it's 48 or 24.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's 48.
I think it's 48.
It's 48.
They have.
I don't know what would be running up along the road there, underground.
I don't know either, but you really shouldn't dig without.
Yeah, I'm
So
not.
maybe
gonna
a
do
couple
that.
days,
Howard-
maybe Monday before
Howard
they could get to it
always liked to
anyway.
do that. He'd dig and ask for forgiveness later, and I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
Especially if you get a pipe or something like that.
Yeah, today's underground cables.
There's an underground oil pipeline right near there too.
Someplace in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I guess locating the utilities better get done first, just to be safe.
Want me to call him back and tell him to get those located and then
Yes.
start first thing Monday?
I would, yes, for sure.
And
you wanna leave it
meanwhile, we
open?
close it.
You gonna leave it open
I
over
guess.
this period? You wanna leave it open till Monday or have him close it?
Now, that's a hard thing to ask right here on camera when the guy just sat here and told us he recommended it closed.
I don't think we
Yeah.
can leave it open.
We can do that either.
Okay.
From the looks of our
Yeah.
lawyer's face,
We can't pretend that we don't know about that.
Absolutely.
So,
So I'll call him.
Do you any good?
Let's,
I'll tell him get the utilities located, close it, start first thing
Yeah.
Monday. If they get out there, they should get out there this week.
let's hope
Is
so.
that what you want me to do?
Yes.
yeah, before the end of business day today, I'd be contacting 1-800-DIG or whatever the number is and getting them out there so that we can at least get it marked by Friday. I
What time
hope.
do they quit? On 5? I'm not sure what they're
Oh,
quitting.
no,
at.
I don't know.
it's 811, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like, what, 811 dig or something?
Yeah.
They probably call it all the time.
Also on that bridge over there on Little Bear,
Mhm.
there's a cable that runs up and is put right on our bridge, and there's also a pedestal stake with the cable hung on it, probably 2 foot away from the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I
that'd be
saw
something
that
on
too.
Yeah.
It's just hanging
I
on
like
the side
stepped
of it.
on it and didn't even see it hardly.
Yeah. I think it's a telephone line.
Yeah, it is.
I told
So,
you about the plates. He said they get them from Morristown. Told him what you needed. You wanted those put over the other two.
Are they gonna be ours permanent or just renting?
I don't know. I can ask him if they can rent them from there
or purchase
or
them.
have to purchase them. That's where they usually get them, he said. I told him that's what you want to do with that. So we'll get a minimum of 10 feet.
We can try them out first. Try the
I think
45.
Yeah.
rent them or have to purchase them. Rent them unless you want to have them down there for emergencies.
At least one set would be nice to have them for emergencies, I would think, but.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, I don't know why we don't already have some laying
Well,
around
yeah.
down there.
Do we want to make it official that we ask the highway to cease any other work if necessary to get these 4 roads opened
I'll
up?
put it in the form of a motion. I'll move
Or
that
5?
we instruct the acting highway supervisor to abandon all other projects except ones we've declared emergency today, and that is the closure of 150 East, Garrison Road, and Little Bear Road, and 565 West. Let's get them open as soon as possible.
I second it.
Okay.
That'd be a good motion.
Motion made and seconded that we instruct the acting highway director to cease any existing road work until we address these 4 locations to get those roads opened back up and put that as a priority 1. Is there any questions or debate? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
3 ayes. Do we want to have him, if he's got manpower to spare, go up and work on 650 at the same time, that gravel road, to get it opened back up for harvest?
About all they can do with that is grade it right now, I would say.
I didn't know whether it needed more stone and then they'd have to grade it out.
Yeah, a load or two of stone would be in order. I was just through there a couple of days ago. I could get through in my truck, but a car would have a difficult
trouble.
time. But,
Because he's probably gonna have some extra manpower that he
yeah,
can continue patching potholes.
Don't just let him decide on what he wants to do.
as
But
far as,
don't we wanna get that
Yeah,
open,
yeah,
be getting it open back
they're
up?
gonna be bringing, corn hoppers and stuff through there real soon.
Yeah.
we gotta make sure they ain't got no oil for that chip seal. How long?
He told me today that they were waiting on some roads to settle. They dug some places out before they do any more
They can
chip
store
seals,
that
so.
in the tank and be okay?
Yeah, probably if they've got anywhere. All right, well, I'll give him a call and let him know what we decided then, after the meeting.
Yeah, catch him today before he gets home.
Yeah. All right, and to work all the hours that they need to work to get them opened up next week, by the end of the week next week, if possible. All right. Yeah, put them notes up.
I still got more.
That way we remember.
Can I make a comment?
Mm-hmm.
Janus Response is under contract to inspect 217 culverts around Van County. We've completed field work on about 100 of them, so that's less than half. So there's still a chance that more situations could arise. I don't want to drag this out into September, October, November. So I think what I'm going to do, because of the urgency that I noted, is go through the list of 117 that are left to inspect. Look for the ones that have the greatest potential for this, and I'm going to try and get those inspected next week sometime, so that maybe we could get the worst of it over with. And you know, it's not like there's enough work to keep you busy for all next week. But it seems to me that I need to change my approach to this project because of the condition that we've seen. The last time they were inspected was 8 years ago, and sometimes, 8 years is a good inspection cycle on structures like this. In this case, it simply wasn't, and I don't think anybody expected that. So I'm gonna change things around. Hopefully you will be seeing me for a while, but I simply can't promise that that's the case, okay?
Okay.
We could work.
That's all I have.
Yeah. Thanks for all this stuff.
All right.
Bill, I just got an email that said that there's a place over in Ohio as well for those plates.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anything else on that subject?
We still on old business?
We'll stay on whatever business you want us to stay on.
Okay, well, all right. Well, we've got another piece of old business that's been laying around for a long time, since late 2017. And we've had 2 engineering firms come in and give us presentations on doing a feasibility study for us on the old Dollar General store for the expansion of the community corrections program for a facility for female inmates, and the possibility of repurposing one or more buildings. And we've both heard 2 presentations, one from RAQW and one from DLZ. And Gary, you'd already left when we got into a short discussion last week about this at the end of a budget hearing session. So I asked the council members what they what their preference was after hearing these presentations. And 5 out of the 7 said that they were pretty much set that they would like to go ahead and have us enter into a contract with DLZ to do this work for us. And I don't disagree with them. And I would like to get this project off top dead center today if we could and move forward with this feasibility study. And there's a number of people waiting for us to do something.
Pete, you're here today. Did you have anything else to add, or?
Well, the only thing I was going to add is during our presentation, we gave note to the joint, both commissioners and the council, that if they wanted to move forward with the study, and again, these are all loss leaders for all of us, that we would be willing to match whatever bid there was, again, to do that study. And I have a letter to that effect from our president stating that we would do that. In addition, reminding that after the study is completed, we're still willing to go ahead and subtract whatever those fees are for the study if you were to move forward with an actual design, whether it's just at the Dollar General repurposing or doing something totally different. Whatever that is, again, if our QAW is chosen for that design work, we'll subtract that fee, whatever that fee is.
I guess my only concern, or one thing that I looked at from the 2 presentations, and I felt that RQAW addressed more, was whatever presentation they made or whatever fees study they put together and whatever we agreed to in the end product, I thought it was going to be I think it's going to be a more complete package in the fact that it's going to include cash flow, personnel flow. It's going to tell us, a particular building project may be the cheapest project for us, but down the road, it may cost us 3 times what in personnel and operating costs than what a different plan might cost. And I didn't hear that from DLZ as being part of their package. Now, if it was, then I just didn't hear. I misheard. But I didn't hear them talk about a feasibility study of, okay, what's it going to cost to operate it? What's it going to cost to man it? And so on and so forth. They talked about doing a study of the current buildings and their maintenance schedule, what needed to be done as far as their maintenance on those buildings. And they talked about looking at what building feasibly made the most sense to do with what. But I didn't hear them talk on the subject of going that one step farther and telling us, okay, if we do it this way, then it'll take this many operating dollars and it'll take this many personnel to operate what you're planning on doing.
I think in respect to both firms that we heard from, if they told us everything we needed to know in the presentation, then we wouldn't need to hire them for a feasibility study. We'd just go back and replay that meeting and we'd already know everything we needed to know, I can't imagine either one of them giving us a feasibility study without items like that being included. But, both of them are reputable firms that have been in business for a long time. When the requests were asked for, they came in at different prices, and they've been laying around since, I know one of them since December 2017. So people on the other side of the street and around the prosecutor's office are getting, little bit worn out with us and our inability to do something. So at most, this, just to get the feasibility study done would cost us at most $6,000. Then we'll know at least maybe where we want to go from there. So once again, we can sit and talk about it for another year or two and get nothing done. And in the meantime, the buildings is sitting over there unused or deteriorating. So I'd like to, I'd like to get started on this, and there's people expecting us to. So, once again, to get this thing off top dead center, I'll make a motion that the commissioners officially enter into an agreement for a feasibility study with the company DLZ for a price tag of $6,000 for a feasibility study on the Dollar General store and other buildings related in their proposed.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that the commissioners enter into an agreement with DLZ for a feasibility study for the Dollar General store and any other buildings involved in the procedure. Is there any other discussion or questions? I think I've said everything, my concerns
Yeah,
with what, the only thing that I might add to is, and maybe Jeff knows some more of the details, but it concerns me that DLZ did the original study, I believe, in Rush County, did the jail design, designed a building that they couldn't afford, and then somebody had to pay for new designs. So that concerns me as well. So, is there any other questions or?
I feel like I've talked it to death.
All in favor?
Aye.
2 ayes, 1 no. So, Jane, could you send DLZ a notice that we're ready to begin? Next note?
That's all I have on old business.
Okay. Anybody else with any other old business?
No.
We'll move on to new business.
You want me to start?
Uh,
Okay. This is something that's come up. I've had a brief discussion with the auditor on it. I think we've got part of it covered, but going back to our commissioner's deed sale, we were left holding some properties, one of which the city has sent us a weed letter on. This is not a very good picture. There's a picture of the property on 7th Street that we own. We are obligated to follow the weed ordinance like everyone else. And this one here
There's a burnt out structure, isn't
on
it?
10th Street, it's not, this one's not burned out.
Oh, that's not the one that's,
But,
is that the one on 7th Street?
That's on seven.
yeah, the back end of this one was arson. But both these, one of them, the main complaint is the weeds, but both of them are standing open. And the city police has given us a warning on this one on 10th Street of
Who'd they want before we
unauthorized
become-
activities in and out of the building. For liability purposes, we really need to find a handyman that can go and board these things up and, at least get them secured until we can get rid of them somehow. I hope we eventually don't have to wind up tearing them down at our expense, but this is one of the downsides of having a deed sale.
And we knew that. I mean,
Yeah,
Now, Bill McDaniel, he messes with those guys that do that kind of stuff.
I had asked Bill, after you and I talked about it, you suggested asking Bill, and he said all the contractors that he knows are like probably covered up with regular business right now. He really didn't have anybody that he could recommend to us.
as far as taking care of the weeds on 7th Street, we could hire one of the neighborhood kids, maybe a couple of them, to do that kind of work.
okay.
But we
Can we
can-
just get Corey? Since he's
Corey,
already
yeah, that would be-
contracted
yeah.
with us under the
We already
cemetery.
have a contract with him.
The people in Bill, on work release.
I,
Yeah, Bill didn't give names, but he did say some of the lawn care businesses in town might be able to help.
a work release crew just may be able to do that, you know, but, you know, we're in violation of the city's ordinance over there, and, you know, the fact that both of them are standing open for free and easy ingress and egress carries a certain amount of liability, and they really do need to be secured.
Today's Tuesday. I can talk to a couple people tomorrow.
It wouldn't take a whole lot, just a few sheets of plywood and some,
What is the addresses on them?
right here, Mark.
Right there. Give me yours.
Here's that one.
20 each.
That's right at the corner of,
I got a guy working on my house right now. I could ask him if he'd like to come up and do that.
Yeah.
and here's the other
Okay.
address.
All right, if you want to do that, Mark, that's fine.
I can
With me.
ask him, don't hurt to ask.
I'd also ask if we need corrections, possibly. There were people that
Mo,
we could have do.
yeah. Fat change. Yeah.
So right now, of the five, I think it was five we were left with, wasn't it?
4 or 5,
Yeah.
6,
Yeah.
something like that.
Right now, I think those are the only two that's causing us any real grief.
Well, how about the other two? What has been done for them on weed control stuff?
We haven't gotten any notices on it, so,
While we're at it, on weed control, you notice canal bed as you come into town on 121? And then they complain about weeds and they got it looking like that?
yeah.
Is that city property or?
Sure is. They've been mowing it and they just kind of cut back on where they're mowing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I have to breathe all that pollen when I drive by.
Yeah. Well, it's just like these houses, they didn't get opened up since we owned them.
No,
No,
they
they've been like this
Who'd
for a
they
long
send-
time.
Who'd they send the
Yeah.
notices to before?
to the property owners,
That's
I
probably why they
guess.
tried to burn them.
But I went through both of them, and they're not salvageable.
That's what I wonder if in order to make them sellable, we need to entertain.
You've been making, investing a lot of money in them. At least that one on 7th, I know.
Yeah.
It's a shot.
I don't know what it would cost to get one torn down and hauled away. If
A
the
lot
city
more
was
than
sitting-
it should.
Yeah, more than it should. But,
My that's that friend guy that does all that tearing down. He's good at it.
yeah.
Who is it?
Friend, he sees
Friend, yeah.
advertising on his signs. on the
Friendly
lights.
Construction?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he tore down the house in Bentonville the other day and took him 2 days. It was in the dumpster.
Yeah, he don't mess around. And he sews the thing back down and look decent.
Yeah.
If it's not grant money, then it may be cheaper.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you're gonna, did you say you,
I'm gonna talk to that guy, see if he can get him boarded up and
okay,
cleaned up. I'll see what he can do.
yeah. Well, we do need to board them up, for sure, because,
Do we want to talk to Corey to maybe see?
sure, I'm okay with that too. Are you volunteering to call him?
I can. Yeah,
Okay,
Corey Lawn Care, isn't it? Corey's Lawn Care?
yeah.
What's those addresses again? 523?
523 West 7th.
523 West 7th. That's the only one with the weed problem. Now, the
The other
626 West 10th Street,
626
yeah,
West 10th?
yeah. It has tall grass out back, but nobody has complained about that yet. But the thing is, the police has reported to us that there's been,
That's the one that's opened up.
both of them are open. But there's been complaints about, you know, foot traffic in and out of that thing over there.
Maybe
Chief of Police can fill
This
you
is-
in on
this is
that
a
more than I
weeds.
can.
we want him to look at 523 only then, right now.
Corey?
Corey,
Yeah, 523 would be
only one.
the only one,
All right,
the priority one.
all right. And we don't need it manicured, we just want it knocked in.
Yeah, we don't need it manicured. And when I was over there, the neighborhood was betting that I would never get it done. They don't have much confidence that we can get the weeds taken care of.
Okay.
But they had 4 cases of arson in that neighborhood in a short period of time, and that one was one of them.
One of them. Well, fire department
There's about
responded
one
too
on
quick.
10th. Was it burnt too?
Yeah.
One on 10th, was that burnt too?
No, it hasn't been burnt, but it's terribly neglected.
All right. Anything else?
Well, since you asked.
Give me that paper.
Yeah.
Just a reminder that our boss back contract at the animal shelter is due for renewal next month. And I don't think there's enough competition in that area that we need to worry about.
They're about the only ones that does it.
Yeah, but we
That's not
still,
the contract.
now that the,
I know what.
Do you have it? That he left on your
I had
desk?
a Rumpke one that he left.
Yeah, it's Rumpke.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not,
Rumpke, I didn't know Rumpke did animals. I thought Boss
They'll do
did.
anything.
Well, the contract that he left on my desk before the last meeting was for Rumpke.
Okay.
But I thought, like, has he gotten any bids within, you
Not-
know, at one time, we had talked about wanting them to get bids.
I haven't heard from him for a few days, so I
Okay.
don't know.
well, what we had talked about 2.5 years ago was everything coming under one contract.
Yeah,
Instead of having CGS and Rumpke sitting beside each other and Rumpke up here and
All together.
well, maybe next week we can, or next month, we can try to get a little bit of that straightened out. But anyhow, that's not the main thing up there. Since the summer intern contract expired, we're still operating with 1 man up there. And we've never advertised for a job opening up there. So my question is, how long do we want to go trying to operate that thing with 1 person? We don't have a permanent director, and we need, you know, we normally operate with two people there. So when do you want to advertise for a job opening up there and see if we can get someone else in there and maybe finally settle on a permanent director and such?
Need to get something
do
done.
don't you have someone?
I might, I can say I do, for sure.
All right. Why don't you find out for sure
Okay.
if that's gonna work? And we'll just put him back on.
Do some finding out. I know if we don't do something, nothing's going to happen on its own.
So, just let me know. We'll have a special meeting if we have to between now and the next first meeting of September, if we don't want to wait that long.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna do some legwork on that?
Well, I'll show my phone.
Okay.
Technology. After I have somebody show me how to do it.
All right.
Okay.
So, is that it?
Well, since you asked, this is my last note.
You sure?
Yep.
All right.
Today. I'll have some more for you in a couple of weeks.
I'm sure you will.
Well, I've been thinking about this for quite some time. I just had never brought it up in a meeting. The courthouse here is one of the few public buildings with pretty regular public foot traffic that doesn't have at least one wheelchair at the front door that people with disabilities can borrow and use while they're in the building. And I'm wondering if it might not be, for a matter of courtesy to the general public, and especially during the times which the prosecutor's conference room is being used for early voting, that we have a couple of wheelchairs that belongs to the courthouse available right out here at the entranceway that people can use while they're here. And whether or not we would want to have Bill Gray go get a couple of prices on some good heavy-duty wheelchairs that would be durable for this kind of duty, and as a convenience to the general public.
I got something I'd like to add to that. I come in here one day, it was hot as heck outside. The old guy sitting out here on the steps down towards the bottom, smoking a cigarette. He shouldn't have been out in the sun in the first place. Why can't we put a bench out there with a shade on it to get past our, 8-foot Cornwall wall? Give
Yeah.
him a place to smoke and get out of the weather while he's doing it. I think that would tie in with Dale's wheelchairs, but the wheelchairs, I think you'll have two. I think you need one regular and then an extra big.
Yeah, some of them, I mean, they have
You go to the
varying,
hospital, sometimes it's pretty good shot.
they have varying weight capacities. But I know, during the last 2 or 3 years when I've had to, take my mother to a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff, the wheelchair that I had for her at home wouldn't fit in the trunk of her car. So I had to rely on the wheelchairs that were available at all the different places that had to go. And I'll tell you, for a lot of people, it's a very valuable convenience if there's wheelchairs there. And I don't think they're terribly expensive, but they should last a long, long time. And we could, have the back of them stenciled courthouse, so that they, if they walked away, we might be able to find them again. So,
I better put one of them in the budget every year.
yeah, you never know, but it's, I think this building is, as far as I know, it's compliant, it's ADA compliant in every respect, except for wheelchairs. So I'm recommending that we ask Bill Gray to
Get some prices.
Get some prices on some good hefty wheelchairs for courthouse use.
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
got
Okay.
2 of them out. My born grandkids play.
All right.
All right.
Did that take care of it?
I won't bring up anything
Do
else.
do we,
Go ahead, we'll let you have one more crack.
is there something that, what Mark is talking about that is built into benches, or is there?
Well, you see them swings in the store, it's got, a place for them to sit, plus it's got like a top over it. That's kind of what we need, but we don't need the swing, just the bench.
if we could look at some public catalogs that's got that kind of stuff, benches and stuff.
I don't know where you look for it.
I don't know if Bill gets those in the mail.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Yeah, maybe we could
Bill's
ask,
pretty sharp, so he'll-
at the same time, why don't you ask Bill about something like that?
Okay.
I've got one more thing. It's time for our PASER, which is our
Oh,
asset
yeah.
management.
I meant to bring that up to you.
Yeah, are we gonna have Butler Fairman? Haven't they done the last two, Diane?
Correct.
They've done the last two. We're gonna have them, you know, when's it, did we have it done 2 years ago or last?
It was done last year,
Last year?
but it has to be done by it has to be done by the 31st of December of each year now, if I read that correctly.
December the 1st.
Or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually the 1st.
I couldn't
of
remember
December.
whether it was the 1st or 31st.
And what I don't know, Gary, and I emailed NDOT today, was, do we have to do that annually now? Since there's a new, software program at LTAP, you have to sign up, which is what I was suggesting either Bill or the county highway do, and, you have to upload the asset management plan before we just emailed everything to them. Now you have to upload it to this software program that they have. It says annually by December the 1st each year, but what I don't know is, do we just re-upload, since we're on an off year, can we upload what we did last year? Or do we have to start doing it, our asset management plan new each year? That I am not aware of.
Okay.
But to be eligible for community crossings, even if we're going the July round, we still have to have that uploaded by December 1st
December
each year.
1st. Regardless of whether we have to have an engineering firm do the update or we can just make our entries,
Correct.
it has to be done by December 1st,
Correct.
the way I understood the letter.
You're absolutely right.
And while we're on that subject, whether we have to hire Butler Fairman to do it again this year, or whether we just upload our changes, I would like to take advantage of their invitation and ask them to come back and explain how we're supposed to use that PASER program. How we're supposed to be using it. Because from what I understand, just like our bridge inspections, we're supposed to be creating our road maintenance plan from that PASER program.
Yeah, and it rates them.
It rates them, every road we chip seal, it tells us when they need chip sealed, it tells us what that rating goes to after the chip seal. Instead of us out here,
And it's supposed to take all the politics out of who gets the road work done and who doesn't. You know?
yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah,
It really is, Dale.
and I don't disagree with that.
And what we have done before in the past is, the surveyor, the county highway director, and commissioner and I have all met, and we have looked at the most highly traveled roads that have the worst rating. And that's where we've started. That's why, like, roads like Veterans Memorial and Pennville Road, Waterloo Road, have been some of the first roads to get paved in the county.
But that's talking about the community crossing.
Correct.
And when I come on board as commissioner, I assumed that that's what that PASER program was supposed to do, was guide you with community crossings money. But Mr. Nash, I believe it was, from,
Mike May.
or Matt,
Uh-huh.
he led me to believe that we're supposed to be doing our everyday maintenance off of this report.
You absolutely should be.
It's certainly supposed to be a primary tool for
Yeah, I mean,
road maintenance.
it's just like the council has put me on the spot, I don't know how many times in the last 2.5 years, and saying, well, what's your plans?
Yeah.
Well, if this PASER program's supposed to be telling us what our plans are, and we need, instead of chip sealing 60 miles, to catch up, if we need to do 100 miles every year for the next 3 years, then that's what we ought to be budgeting for, if the money's there. But I'm just, I just wasn't aware of that, and I guess I would like to extend that invitation and ask them to come back
Sure.
to sit with us.
I've heard their presentations before, and it wouldn't hurt to hear it again.
Well, how's come haven't been using it before then? You've been here,
How long has the Pacer been around? Just 4 years? Is it, since we've only had 2 done? So it's just basically started in the last 4 years, the Pacer.
but I think there's been other asset management programs that LTAP tried to create in the last 15
I don't know that answer. That's
that I'm not
possibly
sure that
true.
Fayette County has been trying to utilize. And I just would like for us to get,
Yeah, and I don't know how Jay picked his 60, 70 miles this year.
Yeah.
Whether he used the Pacer or if it was just driving them, well, this needs it, that needs it.
I mean, it's obvious with our bridge reports that we just put them on the shelf because we got
We're not
a
running.
bridge report that was 7 years old, that those bridges were due to be replaced in the first place.
Yeah.
And 7 years later, now we're closing the roads because of it. So if we don't initiate and use these plans, why spend the money to do them?
Yeah.
Agree.
Other than Indiana says if you want any
Any money?
paving money,
You gotta have it done.
you gotta do it. So we do it for that purpose and that purpose
It's
only.
a great knowledge to have. I mean, you know,
So it's obvious that more than just me in the county system needs the education on how to use these programs.
Included in that asset management plan, we put out a 5-year plan that we intend to do roads rated 2, that are graded a 2, that have highly traveled roads. We're gonna do so many miles the first year, so many miles the second. You know, that's all part of that asset management. Not only do they tell us what roads have what rating, that's a form that we also filled out in that asset management plan.
I guess I wonder how much we've been following it though.
you have to ask Jay if he even knows about it and what he uses to.
Yeah,
pick
that's
his
what
miles.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. I don't know if we're all on the same page. And if Jay's been using that to make up his 60 miles the last 2 years, I commend him for it. Because that's what it's there for. But if he hasn't been, we've got to get him and anybody else that's involved educated on how we use this program.
Got the information, to use it.
Yeah. So, Diane, when do you suspect that you'll know whether we have to do a full-blown?
I'm hoping she will get back with me from MnDOT in the next day or so. One of the engineering firms overheard Bill and I speaking, and he said they're gonna start their listening sessions, which tells you, what the guidelines for next year's grant application will be within the next month. But, that puts us starting kind of late if we have to reevaluate all of our roads.
Okay,
Instead
so
of just doing updates.
if Diana finds out that we do need an engineering firm to do a complete PACER program, do we want to put Butler Fairman on that? They've done it in the past 2 or 3, whatever, 2.
We've done twice.
I've
So that
found-
we can
yeah.
get the ball rolling as soon as she finds out, or,
I've found no fault with Butler Fairman's performance in the past.
And they know what they're doing.
I think it's running 22 or
Something in that range.
23 the
Yeah,
last,
it was less than 25.
yeah, it was less than 25,000.
Yeah.
That's part of the cost of getting $800,000
That was the
worth
whole
of grant money.
reevaluation was 22.
So if it's just minor updates or something, should we try to do those in-house or still let them do them for the fee, smaller
That's-
fee? I
That's
don't know.
not my decision.
It's just, like I said, I don't know, if I'd be capable of doing it or, 'cause I
They
know
might be
Warren didn't want
interested
to do
in
it.
just sitting
He
down with
didn't,
us and
no longer
helping
he's gonna be
after
here, he didn't
some of the boo-boos.
learn it to do it, so, I don't know.
Well, maybe eventually we will know.
Yes, I would like to, just for the updates and everything, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever even seen a Pager report on the county stuff. It might be there somewhere, I have to look for it.
Warren has it, yes.
Yeah, it's probably there somewhere, I'll have to, yeah, there's stuff everywhere.
Okay. So can we ask Bill to see if we can arrange that educational meeting and
Fine with
with
me.
all the parties involved at some point in time? And then if Diana finds out, do you want that we do need to employ an engineering firm? You want Bill to let Butler Fairman know that unofficially we want to obtain their services for that purpose? Because we do have that deadline that we do have to make if we want any funding opportunities for 2020.
Yeah, well, we don't want to take any chances of missing funding.
No. And if they do like they did say that they're talking about doing, even if we fund in 2020, they're talking like they may allow us to delay that construction till 2021 this time. So
Well,
to hopefully get a better bid maybe.
it won't be the first time they change the rules, will it?
So why don't we leave it at that then?
Okay.
If you find out we do need to, then just let's go ahead and maybe you can notify them to officially.
It's
put
basically
it
a
on the
refresher
books.
of how Pager works and what we should be doing with it.
Yeah, what he spoke on, that he was willing to come.
You got it ready for claims and payroll.
Okay, all right. Anything else on Pazer or?
We're ready for claims and payroll. We've got everything else wrapped up.
I'll
Or I
entertain a
can get some
motion.
more notes out.
Well,
No,
I'll
got 'em,
second that
let's-
motion.
to get more notes out?
No, thing.
yeah, I'll move to we approve claims and payroll.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded that we approve
We're gonna take your notepad
claims
away.
payroll. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Yeah, I'm gonna take this all apart. So we'll put them in upside down.
Sorry. I didn't do that, but sorry for going to do that. Forwarded you guys an email with the last Pacer attached.
That's what I was opening up. I didn't know whether I needed to
Yeah.
address something before I moved on.
No, I just wanted y'all to see it. Because they, actually, as part of that document, it has developed a list of proposed treatments by ratings by year for the next 5 years.
As Diana said.
Let's find it.
sit down, do it.
Just a one signature.
Let's see Bob here today.
That's it.
So,
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
All right.
Three ayes.